Namaste and welcome to Astro Yoga Shala. Today is December 14, 2020, and we are just a couple of hours away from a new moon, total solar eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius. This is an exciting day. This is one of the most powerful days of the year. Let me break this down. First of all, let's just think about this for a moment. The moon is totally black right now, about to be rebirthed into a new cycle, the sign of Sagittarius. As she is being birthed, she will block out the light of the sun. In the northern hemisphere, we're in the darkest days of the year. This is very, very potent time. The eclipse happens because the new moon is on a place that is very, very close to the south node of the moon. This means that from the Earth's point of view, when the sun and the moon comes into alignment, from our point of view, the moon will block the sun. It's an alignment between the Earth, moon, and the sun. And what is so extremely powerful with this day is that the planet of Mercury, who's very, very close to the sun, is in a conjunction with this new moon solar eclipse. And not only that, the planet of Neptune is in Pisces and squaring this whole configuration, squaring both the nodes, both the north node in Gemini and the south node in Sagittarius, and the sun and the moon and Mercury. We also have the planet of Mars moving closer also. It's a trine, a couple of degrees orb, but it's a trine to the sun. Mars is the go-getter who is now direct in the sign of Aries. And not only that, a very prevalent energy I have felt is also that the planet of Venus, how we relate with others, she is in the last degrees of Scorpio. She's finishing up the Scorpio lessons for this season, and Venus in Scorpio wants to really dig up the deep issues in our relations. So the sky, I don't want to forget also that Jupiter and Saturn are on the anorectic last degrees of the sign of Capricorn. And in a few days, Saturn will leave Capricorn and move into Aquarius. And 2 days after, Jupiter will follow. And by next week, we will have this amazing, the great conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter at 0 degrees in Aquarius. So being on the anorectic degrees, meaning the last degrees of a sign, the planets are kind of wrapping up everything that they've been working on in their transits in the sign. And we know Saturn has been in the sign of Capricorn 2.5, 3 years, and Jupiter has been there for 1 year. We all know what this year has meant to all of us personally, but also in the world. This is strong energies, very, very strong energies. The south node, total solar eclipse, is wanting you and me and all of us to release something. The release can happen, of course it can happen, that you feel very strongly inside of you that no, this needs to be released. But that is if you have your attention on the area that this eclipse is actually working in. You can see in your horoscope the sign of Sagittarius, what house that sign is in, and that will tell you the area in your life that will be affected. If you have not paid attention to this area, something will most definitely be taken away from you. The South Node energy also can bring something up from the past. Something might have just shown up, in the week that was leading up to this moment, or it might show up at the end of this week. Whatever it is that is showing up, it is up to you to see, is it useful or not for the future? Eclipses demand your attention somewhere in your life. Eclipses usually changes the course of your direction, moving you sideways, revealing sometimes another path to the same goal. I'm thinking about, at least for me in the 80s, I was going on a lot of disco, and the disco lights that is like blinking very hard. So when you're moving, you could see the faces and the movements of people. Lights on, lights off, lights on, lights off. You're kind of on the same spot, but things looks different. It's not like you're moving ahead. It's not like you falling back. It's like you're moving sideways. Something is changing, whether you like it or not. With the South Node in Sagittarius, it is important for us to understand that it is the shadow side of Sagittarius that needs to be released. Every sign has a shadow side. It is the side that doesn't serve us anymore. So let's talk about what the shadow side of Sagittarius is. And I am sure that you might recognize this, even though you don't know what area this will affect you. We can see this in the collective, the shadow side of Sagittarius. Self-righteousness, opinionated views, distancing. Distancing means here in Sagittarius only hearing your own truth. Sometimes Sagittarius can count too much on luck. Hypocrisy belongs here. Dogma, inability to deal with negativity, meaning that you're staying away from anything that is negative. Putting your rose-colored glasses on, Neptune in Pisces, ungroundedness. The Piscean lofty Neptune and the expansive quest of Sagittarius might make you lose your ground, fall into blind faith, being insensitive, agitated, and tactlessness, saying things that is cut off from understanding another point of view, having a desire to keep all your options open so that you don't commit to valuable co-creations, a tendency to justify all kinds of behavior because you are of a higher consciousness and believing that law of attraction and God is always on your side, or creating conflicts with people who have different opinions of you. Feeling that you are the one who will reveal the truth to the world. It's very helpful at this time to agree to disagree. Be careful of believing all the information that's coming out this week. It's important that with any information that you're getting this week, to sit down, reflect, and critically analyzing it, especially if it's imposing to be the truth. Neptune's square with the nodes is very, very strong in this eclipse. And the shadow side of Neptune, really, it is a delusion. And also be careful of addiction. You know, staying away from the negativity, you know, pouring up another glass, or, you know, whatever you're doing to addict yourself, eating too much food that is not healthy for you, any kind of addiction. Be mindful of this. I think that it's very useful to look at the North Node in Gemini, because Gemini wants us to see both sides of the story. Gemini wants to research and to stay open, to learn. Gemini also is the energy that brings us back into the present moment. If Sagittarius is the wide views and vision, looking at the future, then Gemini is saying, no, this is here, this is now. What can I learn? What can I learn from this situation? What information is being said here? You know, like, and in Gemini, the North Node in Gemini, of course, has a shadow side too, but here we are asked really to master how we receive and digest information. And we have one more year to go, but this eclipse particular will, you know, spark these energies. And I must say, not to sound negative in any way, just to be aware that it's a lot of shadow work in the world right now. A lot of shadow energy is up right now. So be mindful, you know, and check in with yourself to see what energies are you disposing within yourself. Remember that the higher expression of Sagittarius is the sage. It is the philosopher who is ethical and open-minded. It's a positive spiritual vision. The higher energy is the truth seeker, the idealist, the faithful, the generous, the philanthropic, the tolerant, who speak their mind, but be mindful of the shadow. So for the next week, it's very useful to tune into your higher self. Put yourself in receiving mode to receive the message of this eclipse. In the Northern Hemisphere, we're in the feminine phase of the year, the womb of the mother, where we are dying and being rebirthed in the same form. We are, and I'm thinking about Venus as she is right now getting closer to the horizon in the morning and is about to go down into the underworld. It happens in January 11th. That what happens that when she comes down there, she's fully naked, and we are entering the womb. That means that whatever baggage we have with us, we need to release and only save the essence of ourselves. So, before the solstice, before the sun is being reborn next week, when the sun enters Capricorn, and at the same time we have this great conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter, it is time for you this week to take back your power, to alchemize and find those powerful seeds that you have within. Make sure that your power is not trapped in some past traumatic experience or toxic relationships. Anywhere in your life where you feel incomplete or drained, that is certainly an area where you have given your power away. Anytime you feel you want to be right or justified, or you're giving your worthiness to someone else, if you have a strong relationship with your inner voice, your wisdom, and letting your intuition guide you, then your self-confidence will be strong and you can trust yourself in any situation. You do not have to be validated to feel worthy of an authentic expression. You are here to learn to integrate your soul awareness into your daily life so you can live with less fear and insecurity. We're really born here right now in this time, all of us, to help to shift the planetary lower vibrations of fear. And let's together bring humanity into a higher vibration of love. So we can allow for love and peace and truth to remain on this planet. Follow your heart and do your part to be ready and be prepared to receive the messages that will arrive through this eclipse. Preparation is important. It is a very important part if you want to receive abundance in any kind of form. So you can enjoy your abundance to the fullest. Abundance arrives when you have created containers for it to be held within. So make sure right now also to harvest. Make sure to harvest. So you will have the seed to plant and co-create more abundance. Clear out the old, complete and prepare. This means that this week is also very, very good to revise, to finish, and bringing to fruition old projects, or finally deciding to let them go completely. Maybe it can be some projects that has been really difficult to work with, and maybe you need some fresh input, or maybe you need to find someone to collaborate with on certain projects. Some of you might feel immense sadness, grief, anger over unfinished projects or relations that is not working anymore. It might be like this. If it's a project, it might be that this is not the time yet to release it. And maybe it is a time to release it later on in the future, that you need to work up a new structure for that project. The solar eclipse, this is a new moon solar eclipse that will come to fruition in June at the full moon in Sagittarius in June. So be mindful. Keep a sharp focus on the contents of your mind and your speech. For the words that you think and speak are the very diet that feeds your world experience. Break all your larger projects into small steps. Write down your priorities, work on your dreams and desires with daily action, and commit to your dreams for the long haul. Stay positive and visualize your dreams as already manifested. Make sure your needs are being met. Say no to unrealistic demands of your time. Spend time daily devoted to activities that makes your heart sing with joy. Spend time in nature. The healing effects of nature will not only rejuvenate your whole being, it will also spark you with new ideas and fresh perspective. Let me go through what particular house this eclipse is in for you. I'm going to do it very briefly here. I would suggest that you take into your heart your rising sign first. And you can also listen to your sun sign and the moon sign if you want to get a whole picture. But first, I want to let you know that I have opened my membership portal on Patreon. I've been working on this portal for many, many years, and I've been redoing it over and over again. And now it's finally in alignment with what I'm offering. So if you enter the membership right now, before the end of the year, it's only for $22 a month. After the end of the year, it will be $33. So $22 a month, you can now get in. And for that, you will get a personalized reading from me in your inbox, a video every month with the month's transit. You will also be invited for a community Zoom where we'll have a ceremony, meditation, maybe do some exercise, and then a Q&A. And there you can bring your chart and your questions. If you enter before the end of the year, you will get 1 hour full reading on your soul purpose on Zoom. That's extra. So if you enter now, we can have this meeting, and you can leave this membership anytime. You can join for a month and see what it is, if you like. So for the month of December, the rest of the month, a soul purpose reading, if you enter now, for $22. After the new year, $33. And then in January, we will start the ceremonies and the monthly Q&A, and you will get like a month transit every month. So please consider this if you feel like you want to start something brand new. This is my offering. There's also a possibility for any of you to donate any amount you like monthly to keep this channel thriving. There will be a link down below to Patreon, so check it out. I also want to remind you of my offer for those who maybe want to give a gift for someone. Their soul purpose reading is for $55 before the end of the year. So you can also write me an email if you want to gift someone that, or if you want to have your soul purpose reading right now for yourself. Okay, so let's begin with the sign of Sagittarius, because it's your month, and this eclipse is happening in your first house, which has to do with your self-image. This is the place where you create yourself. It's the self-assertion. It's where you're conquering your independence in the world. It's your vitality, your style. So there might be, this is a big moment for you to really shift something on how you view your life from the inside, from the depths of your soul. If you have your sun rising or the moon in Scorpio, this will concern the second house of your material resources or your possessions, your income, your talents, your financial management, your values. There is some restructuring here. Some old and outdated beliefs needs to shift for you to bring in something new in this area. How do you handle your finances, and how do you relate with your value and your talents? Okay, so if you have your rising sun or moon in Libra, this is concerning the third house of communication, social interaction with your immediate environment. This could be learning or teaching, schools, writing, communication, short trips, and exchanges. Some information is changing place. This is, I mean, if you're a writer, maybe this is the time when you are really, for this week, just to write a lot, communicate a lot with your immediate environment. This is also the house of siblings, aunts and uncles, or people that you deal with daily. communicating, very quick energy. And I would suggest that you would really grab your pen and paper and write down your insights this week. If you have your rising sun and moon in the house of, or the sign of Virgo, this is a very, very powerful place in your chart, because this is your foundation, your home, your roots, the past, the family of origin, your ancestors. This is also your emotional foundations. So something is really changing here. I have heard several Virgos who are right now, they have to move. They have to change location. Many are dealing with this, or dealing with maybe something with their parents. Emotional foundations, really feeling into what is it that I have with me from the past. It could be a point of view, something that you believe in yourself or believe about your life that you need to release. What needs to shift to bring yourself into a more alignment with your soul's purpose. So, and if you have your rising sun and moon in Leo, now this is a fun place, because this is your fifth house. And the fifth house is also has to do with Leo. So it's love, it's passion, it's creativity. I mean, it's your self-esteem also. This is the house of sex, of lovers. It's also the house of consequences. So it might be that you have in your life maybe not expressing your creativity, and that has consequences for your life right now, and that needs to shift. It might be so that something else needs to shift. How about, if not creativity, maybe it's concerning your children. Maybe you think that the learning experience of your children needs to shift. Maybe it's that you do not allow yourself to really enjoy life with the pleasures that life gives you. And maybe it might be that you are they're coming in something like a new creative project, maybe a lover, or maybe a hobby. Something is happening. If you have your rising sun or moon in the sign of Cancer, this is concerning your sixth house, which is your day-to-day reality. It is your routine, something that you do daily. It could be your work environment. It is actually the essentials, the quality of life for you, concerning not only your work, but it's also concerning your health. It could be the ancients, for them, they also could call this the house of slavery. I mean, we have slavery today, but also it could be service, where you work a lot, you do a lot, but you don't get paid. It is could also concern employees, or even your pets. So one question to ask yourself: what does the quality in your life depend upon? Is it something in your health that needs support? Is it something in your immediate day-to-day environment that needs to change for you to be in more alignment with your soul's purpose? How do you organize your your routines in your daily life? If you have your rising sun or moon in the sign of Gemini, this is the seventh house, which has to do with partnership. It could be any kind of partnership. It could be partnership concerning your work life, your career, or it could be intimate partnership. Concerning marriage, it is the place of agreements and contracts, but also endings. The ancients also saw this house as the house of open enemies. So what qualities is necessary to have an authentic relationship and deep and intimate relationship with another. And what can you discover in your one-on-one relationship that really needs to shift? How do you show up in relationships? Is there anything that needs to be released for you to be in more alignment with your soul purpose? If you have your rising sun or moon in the sign of Taurus, well, this is the 8th house the eclipse is happening in, and the 8th house is the house of transformation. It's death and rebirth. It is actually the house of crisis. It might be some emergency that you need to tend to right now. It has to do with separation, retirement. It has to do with joint finances. And since it is separation, joint finances, it could be that someone might pass during eclipse. The eclipses are usually a portal for people to leave the body, and maybe, you know, something is leaving, and then after that an inheritance will arrive. I mean, it's something to do. So how do you handle loss? This is all. And what is it in your life that really leads you to deep transformation? This is also the house of occult matters and sex. How do you experience sexuality? Sexuality is also linked to your creativity, and also it's very strong in our relationship with other people. So how do you show up in your sexuality with others? And how do you handle taboo topics in your life? Okay, so if you have your rising sun or moon in the sign of Aries, well, this is the house of the higher education, the 9th house. Higher education, philosophy, religions, teachers, gurus, long trips, big vision, search for meaning, search for the unknown, you know, reaching out far with your vision. It might be so in this eclipse that you need to look at what is right in front of you to decide what you need to release to be able to make room and space for that bigger vision that you will probably receive in this week to follow. If you have your rising sun and moon or moon in Pisces, this is the 10th house, which is the house of career. It is your mission in life. It is your public life. It is your status. It is here where you get recognition, here where you get fulfillment. It is also the place of hierarchy. So, what are the great goals that you want to conquer in this lifetime? What actions do you need to take to achieve that professional stability that will bring great results? And which qualities within you will help you to achieve a solid career and fulfillment in the world? Well, let's move on to Aquarius, rising sun and moon in Aquarius. This is concerning the solar eclipse, is concerning your 11th house of friends and groups and social activism. These are the people that you connect with, that you want to connect with. Here is the house where you cooperate with other people of your choice. So one good question right now is to ask, how do you show up in these groups? How do you show up in the groups, and what are your gifts to the group? What is the truth of the group? Re-examine the beliefs of the groups that you have chosen to be in. If you have the rising sun or moon in the sign of Capricorn, well, this is in your 12th house. The 12th house is the house of mystical experiences, out of this world experiences, meaning that sometimes it's like it's out of your control, these experiences. It's also the house of fears, of spirituality. Here is also the house of solitude. It's like you are taking away from the world to re-examine and come into the depths of your soul. So one good thing to ask yourself is how you handle life's greatest anguish. How do you handle that within yourself? What is your greatest internal enemies? How do you experience solitude and deep dive into your soul? Because this is a moment where you actually, it's very, very good for you to be in this space of solitude, to be in connection with your spirituality and your mystical experiences of the divine within yourself. So that was it. That was the houses. I will post another video and talk about the great conjunction, and I will also then go through the houses. This is for this week only. And I think this week is so powerful to shed the things that we do not need. It is so powerful to finish up the old projects, to make space, become organized for the new to come in. Be prepared for the great conjunction that happens between Saturn and Jupiter. Be prepared for the sun to be reborn in 1 week from now. And let me finish with some wisdom from Brené Brown. I just took some quotes from her and I put it together. And I think it's very helpful to have these quotes. And yes, I really, really wish that this information for you has been helpful. So let's continue with words from Brené Brown. Cultivating authenticity, letting go of what people think. A couple of examples on when you're not authentic. Laughing at jokes that aren't funny. Pretending to be relaxed when you are not. And staying silent when not agreeing so you don't create tension. Cultivating self-compassion, letting go of perfectionism. A couple of samples on when you're not feeling perfect. Perfectionism is not striving towards excellence or healthy striving. It is a cognitive behavior process, a way of thinking and feeling that says this: if I look perfect, do it perfect, live it perfect, I can avoid and minimize shame, blame, and judgment. Perfectionism is the ultimate fear, being afraid that the world will see you just as you are and you won't measure up. Ultimately, perfectionism protects us from being seen. Cultivate a resilient spirit. Let go of numbing yourself and let go of powerlessness. Cultivate gratitude and joy. Gratitude is a practice. Gratitude is the release of feeling victimized by something outside of yourself. all challenging circumstances. Is ultimately challenging us to grow. But whatever looks like an opportunity or might appear as a crisis, no matter what your experience is, this solar eclipse is demanding you to pay attention to the things in your life that does not work. The eclipse is demanding you to grow. I wish that this has been helpful for you. I wish that this time that you will be supported in finding your ground when things are falling away from your life, and finding the faith and the trust that something new will arrive sooner than later. Please share and like and subscribe to this channel. Please join our community on Patreon. There will be a link down below. It was my intention that this video would be of service and to help to anyone who needs help. I really, really, really wish that you have a beautiful week with a lot of insights and a lot of love and harmony. Blessed be everyone, and thank you.